Court will not reconvene. Mr. Godot, did you find this Furo Tigre? I even tamed him for you. It was a 3-cup job, no problem.
Tamed him? The guy's name may be Furo Tigre, but come on.
He's pretty lively. Be careful, he still bites. Very well, please show Mr. Tigre to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the...
Don't hide under the table, Maya. Unless there's room for me down there, too.
Why'd you say me? Nothing! I didn't say nothing, honest!
Who could have guessed that fear would induce a bad Brooklyn accent in the judge?
I got business to take care of, you hear me? So who the hell called me into this hole? Was it you, Spiky?
No, of course not. It was the judge. Your Honor?
Oh dear, I seem to have dropped my pen. Where on earth is it? Don't mind me, just carry on with the normal proceedings, as normal.
That's it. We're doomed.
Maybe you didn't hear me. I said who the hell was it that called me in here?
There's no need to shout. We can all hear you.
What do you say?
There's no point struggling. You're caught in a snare. The relentless snare of the law. And I'm the one that hauled you in. Too cool. Don't let him get the better of you, Nick. Let's start with the basics. You know about the incident in question, correct?
Incident? I know nothing about no sticking incident, mess boy.
You mean you didn't attend the previous trial of Maggie Bird?
Maggie who? I got more important things to do than watch decorum dramas. Of course. Well, perhaps you could give us your testimony then. Please tell us about what you did on the day of the murder. Phoenix, right. You's the one who set this up, didn't ya? You's gonna regret the day you ruffled the tiger's fur. You hear what I'm saying?
Gulp. Maybe I should have brought a diaper with me today. Get a grip, Nick. You want to talk?
I don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up with business in December last year. Spent all that time in my office. I got whales lined up to borrow cash from tender lender every single day. You just want to check my alibi, just ask for a letter. At last I found my pen. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination. What is it? Please, witness, if you could refrain from shouting out like that. I know the kind of games that Gavin or Blue plays. That lowlife ain't no lawyer. He just punches away at stupid details till he wins.
Lowlife? Me?
Listen up, Smarty. Every time you ask something that don't relate to this case, I'm gonna bill you $50,000, and you're just gonna borrow the cash from me.
That's one lump contract I refuse to sign.
Don't think I ain't gonna hurt when you tangle with a tiger.
Ha! I love a good spectator sport.
Just a minute. That's really not.
This witness is, how can I put it? A hungry tiger roaming the urban jungle. Get on his bad side and he'll bite everyone's heads off. Yours too.
Very well. I have no choice but to impose a penalty system here. You just better be listening. I said I got business to take care of. Big business. If I don't split now, I ain't gonna catch my bus. The court will impose a penalty for any irrelevant pressing of the witness's testimony. Keep that in mind as you begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor. You can do it, Nick. Come out from under there already, would ya, Maya?
I don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up with business in December last year, spent all my time in my office.
Are you sure about that? We're talking about 1 month ago, you know.
You see these teeth? That's how sharp my secretary is.
Sharp? Is he talking about Viola Cadaverini?
She writes everything in my scheduler. December, Mainly in the office. That's what it says, so that's where I was. That seems like a rather sketchy schedule.
There he goes again. What the tiger did all December isn't the issue. What's important is what he was doing on the day of the murder. So, now what? Mr. Tigre, what do you want?
If you wouldn't mind going into a bit more detail.
This is a dead end, Trident, and you know it. Remember the rules. No, it's essential that we establish the witness's alibi accurately.
I agree.
The victim was killed on December 3rd. Were you in the office that day too?
Maybe you ain't listening. Of course I was. I never set foot outside. I had meetings all day with a bunch of cats wanting to do business with me. I ain't never seen that young kid before. I do believe the witness's statement was important. Mr. Guido, if you could please...
Mr. Tigre, the court asks you to add that last statement to your testimony.
Don't let an animal beat you. Be a man, Your Honor, and ask him yourself.
The day you was talking about, I was in the office too. I never saw that kid before.
Oh wait, didn't Glenn's calendar say meet with the tiger? Meet with the tiger. There you go. Mr. Tigre, you claim you didn't know Mr. Glenn Elk, but it appears that Mr. Elk knew you.
What?
Mr. Elk left his little note on his calendar, meet with the tiger, and the date, December 3rd.
December 3rd? That's the day of the murder.
So, Mr. Tigre, I submit that you did indeed know one Mr. Glenn Elk, because on the very day of the incident, you met with him.
Not bad. You was actually not bad.
Sorry?
I was just messing with yous to see how good you were.
Did you hear that, Nick? He said you're not bad. That's one compliment I could do without. Plus, he's lying through his teeth.
Witness, please remember that you're under oath. Lies would not be tolerated. You just calling me a liar? Is that what you're doing?
So you say that your claim to have never seen that kid before is the truth?
I said I'm dead serious. You believe that's the truth?
Huh. Then I'd say that gives me time to enjoy another cup of pure black magic. That is while you testify for the court again, Mr. Tigre.
Oh yes, would you mind indulging the court witness?
You never actually met the victim. That's gotta be a lie right there. It's time I nailed this guy.
I ain't no liar. I never met Glenn Elk. There was some lame guy with that name, though. Wanted to borrow cash from him. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office, tender lender. I went around for him, but he ain't never showed. I ain't never been to that Trey Bien joint he's here. I see. That all seems perfectly logical. You had arranged to meet with the victim, but he didn't show up.
I've heard it's pretty hard to keep appointments when you're dead.
Very well. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
Didn't I tell you I got a big deal going down today? I ain't gonna make my bus now. I'm gonna have to take the express train. That bill is going straight to you, right?
Grr. So, will he again penalize me now? I'm just gonna check. If I get an insta-kill or not.
Hey, I ain't no liar. I never met Glenn Elk.
And yet, your name was written on the victim's calendar.
Get that horse calendar out of my face. I'm the tiger, not a lame horse, you porcupine. Tigers like me eat horses like that for breakfast. No. Witnesses are not permitted to eat evidence. Not that they would. But, well, there was a case once where a young lad ate...
Anyway, if you had never met the victim before, how do you explain this note he left?
There was some late guy with that name, though. Wanted to borrow cash from me.
That's very strange. According to the manager of the firm where the victim worked, December 3rd was the date he had to repay his loan.
loan. He wasn't due to discuss borrowing money, but repaying what he owed.
Oh, yeah. Maybe you was right. Whatever it was, he was going down at the beginning of December.
So you did miss me, Mr. Elk, then?
Hey, right. Use my one to cool your jets for a sec. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office, 10 to Lenta.
So your meeting wasn't supposed to be at Tribune, then?
Why would I want to go to a dump like that? If I want to talk with my clients, I got an office decked out for the job. I got the best punching bags you ever saw in there.
Not exactly a professional office you've got there, you know. So you're in your office on the day in question.
I went around for him, but he ain't never showed.
He didn't show up.
Huh. What do you think, Trite? Let's see. How does a dead man get from a French restaurant to a loan shark's office?
And you yourself didn't go to Tribune.
What are you trying to pin on me here? Why don't you just come down to my office? We can chat about this thing my way, yeah? I got the best punching bag you ever saw in there.
No need. I'm good, thanks.
Listen up. I ain't got nothing more to say except this. I ain't never been to that Tribune joint either, yeah?
Never? Not even once?
Not even once. I was in my office that day that went down. I ain't put no poison in no kid's coffee, capiche?
Do you think he really didn't meet Glen Elk? Not likely. Because I'm convinced this guy's behind the whole thing. So you mean that whole testimony he just gave was a lie? Of course. So we can't afford to give him time to think of ways to plug the leaks in it. Gotta nail him while I still can. This is pretty easy. You've never been to Tribune? Alright, explain this. Mr. Tigre, is there something you'd like to tell the court about these matches?
Matches? What are you talking about?
We found them in your office at Tender Lender. They're from that restaurant?
What?
If you've really never been to Tribune before, what was the book of matches? What was the book of the restaurant's matches doing on your desk?
You've been snooping around in my stuff now, too, wise guy. Why are you, my ball and chain? Ain't no bra controlling me.
Order. Well, with this, I think it's time we start telling us the truth, don't you? Rawr! Sorry, I'm terribly sorry. Forgive me.
I ain't no pussycat. I don't go on back on what I said. But okay, I was at that joint that day.
What?
But listen good, alright? I might have been there, but I've still never met that kid.
Well. Looks like an order just came in for another testimony.
I'm this close to proving it was him. He did meet Glen Elk that day. And he did poison in his coffee. He must have.
I was supposed to meet with the Kia restaurant that afternoon. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid out over the table, stiff as concrete. I figured if the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. I heard the cop siren on my way out, and I went right back to my office.
I see. You didn't actually meet with him in the end, then. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold it! If I wait around here any longer, I ain't even gonna make the normal express. No more stupid questions.
Huh. No problem. Anytime Trite pushes you on something irrelevant, I'll see he pays a penalty. Mr. Godot, that is my job. Your job is to slam that little hammer of yours and call a guilty verdict. So do it. Yes, sir.
The special express ain't cheap, right? Just so you know, since you's paying.
Oh man, doesn't the rule of law mean anything around here? Obviously not. Okay, so they clearly expressed that I'm not allowed to press on irrelevant things. So here we go. Let's look at the floor plans. Yep. You can have seen the scene when you open the door. You're something of a loan collecting pro, aren't you, Mr. Tigre? No one escapes the tiger's clutches. Well, I'm something of a lie detecting pro. And no one escapes the Phoenix's clutches. I think it's time we got something straight.
What's this, right? A new line of irrelevant questioning?
These are the floor plans of the crime scene. You say you were standing at the entrance, Mr. Tigre. From there, your field of vision would have covered in an area something like this.
Indeed, the witness would have had a clear view of the victim's seat.
Ain't that what I just said? I saw the back of the kid's head. Unfortunately for you, that is not possible. If the court would think back, you'll remember that between each of the tables is a tall partition.
Why, that's true!
Now look at the plans again. The truth is painfully obvious. From the entrance, the field of vision of any customer walking in ends here. So, from the entrance of Tribulations, you couldn't have seen the victim's seat. But you did see the victim that day, because you met with him.
Objection!
Wrong! Have you forgotten the old man's testimony yesterday? The victim was alone at his table.
Come on, man. But the defense just proved that point to be moot. The victim witnessed by Mr. Kudo was not Glenn Elk, but a fake.
What?
In order to have Mr. Kudo falsely testify, the real killer posed as the victim he had just killed and acted out a charade.
That will do. This trial has gone on long enough without the obvious question being answered. Who exactly was this real killer who impersonated the victim? You say the killer murdered Glenn Elk, and then impersonated his victim in a performance with Victor Kudo. In that case, Mr. Wright, reveal the identity of this criminal to the court.
Well, it's gotta be him. Obviously, that killer is Fury Tigre. No one else could have done it.
What? When was this?
Now that's cute. You think you can pin this on the tiger? Maybe you don't understand. The tiger is the king of the jungle. So I dare you to say it again. Come on, you got the guts.
You can't threaten me, Mr. Tigre. It's a defense. Go ahead and tell the witness, Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright!
Sounds to me like it must be you, old man. You's got guts, I'll give you that.
Mr. Wright, do you want to leave me down to this alone?
Ha! Perhaps I can end this embarrassment.
But, Mr. Kudo?
Let's just go back over Mr. Kudo's testimony one more time. The old man didn't just see the victim. Oh, no.
A serving girl bought him a Javicino, but she put something in it. There's no question about it. She very conspicuously put some white powder in there.
Was the victim he saw the real victim or not? That doesn't matter. The fact remains he saw the accused put the poison into the coffee.
Yes, it was the waitress who poisoned the coffee.
Very impressive, Mr. Kudo. Waiting for my absence to launch your attack.
Huh. Found your pen at last, Trite.
It was in my pocket. But anyway, Mr. Kudo witnessed two people that day. He saw the victim, the supposed Mr. Glenn Elk, and the waitress from behind.
Yeah, that's your point, Mr. Wright.
I think the conclusion is obvious. If this Glenn Elk was really the killer in disguise, then surely it's possible that the waitress was also part of the show.
What? You mean the waitress was an imposter as well?
The defendant, Miss Bird, fell unconscious immediately after the incident. And someone used her fainting to hatch an elaborate plan to pin the murder on her.
Who on earth was it? Who was this waitress that Mr. Kudo witnessed?
Viola Cadaverini.
Who is this woman?
Her name is Viola Cadaverini. She's an employee of Tender and Under.
You was making a big mistake. You know who Viola's grandfather is?
You better be going home in an armored truck tonight if you know what I mean. Stop shaking, Nick. Where was I? Yes, the defendant, Miss Bird, had stated the following. Well, when I took the coffee over to the victim's table, it's true there was another customer in the restaurant. She was sort of creepy, and she had a kind of a cackling laugh. There are just too many contradictions in this case. The second man at the victim's table, who nobody but Miss Bird seems to have seen. The earpiece worn by the victim in his left ear when that eardrum was ruptured. And the radio show he was supposedly listening to half an hour after it was over. There's only one logical explanation that clears up all of these contradictions. The whole incident took place twice. Once for real and once for show. And Mr. Fury T. Gray, the only person who could have committed the crime is you!
Well, witness, what have you got to say?
That's cute.
Sorry?
It was alright. I could do with a guy like you around. What do you mean? Okay, I'm on this game. I'm gonna have to charter a jet to get me to my meeting now, but I'm gonna give yous one more thing to think about before I go. Something to think about. Yous got it all wrapped up nice, alright? But yous missed one real important thing. But that can't be. I was in a joint that day, and I met that kid too. But I couldn't have poisoned him, you see.
What? Do you really expect us to believe you now, Mr. T. Gray?
Huh. What a troublemaker.
Troublemaker?
Looks like we're gonna need another one for the road. One more steaming cup of hot testimony.
Indeed. Witness, you will explain yourself to the court. I will give you one more chance to testify. What happened that day at Tribulations between yourself and the victim?
Yeah, I loaned El Cash. About $100,000. That day we was due to have a little chat. The kid had hit his payback date, see? So anyway, he tells me he's got no way to pay up. I'm about to flatten the guy when he starts screaming. Yes, I won every $1,000,000. He got lucky, you know. Real lucky. That waitress hadn't done what she'd done, everything would have been over.
What? Now I see that the principal amount you loaned to Mr. Elg was $50,000.
Yeah, well, you's got the victim taken into account. Interest builds up fast, you know.
That's faster than fast. $100,000 is twice his principal.
And the repayment deadline was December 3rd, the day of the incident in question.
Yeah, he was one lucky kid. He got that out of him just in time. So I ain't have no reason to kill the kid. And if I ain't got no motive, you ain't got no case.
His motive? Yes, I have one. But what is it? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I loaned El Cash about $100,000.
Did he have any way of paying the loan back?
The fool was a gambler. He said he couldn't give it up till he landed a big win. So I agreed to help him.
Help him? You?
I kept hitting him with ideas for ways he could get a big win. But the guy kept losing.
So you were helping him for his sake, or yours?
Went through compromise. Yous help me, I help yous. What's the difference, huh?
I don't believe this. Nick, would anyone really ever loan money to someone they thought it was unreliable? Like, for example, if it were you, I'd only loan you $5 max. Thanks a lot, Maya.
That day we was due to have a little chat. The kid hit his paycheck date, see?
So how much were you expecting him to pay you back on that day?
What do you think? The whole package, $100,000, including interest.
That's a really heavyweight punch.
Once a client misses a repayment, you call the whole loan in. You want to make it in my world? That's all you gotta know.
And how many times had Mr. Elk been late with his repayments?
Once.
And how much was he supposed to pay back every month?
$50.
Sounds like Mr. Elk was in a real sticky spot. Yeah, at $50 a month, he never paid that huge loan off.
So anyway, he tells me he's got no way to pay up.
How much did he have left on his debt?
You want it in round figures? About $100,000.
That's the whole amount. We're talking about a guy who had 58 cents in his wallet.
What? You telling me he wasn't even gonna pay for the coffee?
He certainly seems to have been a brave man, this Mr. Elg. That guy was smooth, I tell yous. Real smooth. You'll have your money in less than 5 minutes. That's what he says to me. The guy that calls me the Tender Tiger. He was skating on thin ice with me. I'm about to flatten the guy when he starts screaming.
Was that because the guy won the lottery? Was his last chance at a big win?
And you can confirm that this is the ticket in question.
That's it.
The Billionaire radio show starts at 1:30 p.m. and runs for 10 minutes. That fixes the time you two met with some accuracy.
And the whole scene was acted out again 30 minutes later. All so that Mr. Kudo would see it.
I can still see the kid's face now. I ain't never gonna forget it. Yes, I won. I have $1 million. You got lucky, you know. Real lucky.
Was there anyone else in the restaurant at the time?
I don't remember.
If there was no one there, I'll wear that ridiculous tiger shirt for a month. Mr. Armstrong, Maggie, and if I'm right, Viola Cadaverini were all there at the time.
So, the victim had intended to repay you from his lottery winnings from the beginning.
Seems that way to me.
But boy, you wouldn't normally expect to win the lottery, would you? Huh. The undying belief that your next roll will end the worst losing your streak... What? The undying belief that your next roll will end the worst losing streak you ever had. That's what defines a true gambler.
He makes it sound so cool. Don't be tempted, Nick. You haven't got the willpower for it.
All I know is the kid took a shot and got lucky in the end. If that waitress hadn't done what she'd done, everything would have been over.
The waitress, you mean...
The girl with the glasses in the defendant's chair. Who else could I mean? If she hadn't gotten the way, things would have been bada bing, bada boom, over and done with.
Maybe I should push a little on this. What did she do? What exactly are you implying the defendant did?
How about you go ask Four Eyes about that $5 million ticket? She wanted it so bad, she poisoned Elle's coffee.
A likely theory. Your word hasn't held water lately, Mr. Tigre.
But let's not forget this witness was actually at the scene, right?
The law don't exactly agree with some of the deals I sent down. I couldn't be there when the cops showed up, so I split.
I see. Your Honor, the witness's last few statements are worth a good 2 cups of coffee. I concur, Mr. Rideau. You will amend your testimony accordingly with this.
So that's what you're after, Finks, right? Thanks to what she did, my business with that kid was over.
The tiger's trying to pin the crime on Maggie. If I ask him about what he saw, it's only gonna damage our case. What do you mean things would have been over and done with?
Are yous all there or what? I'm talking about the cash. I was there to get my $100,000 back, that's all. I'm a businessman. It was all coming together before that waitress got in the way.
As far as I can tell from the witness's testimony, other than recouping his loan, Mr. Tigre had no motive for killing the victim. Well, Mr. Wright, are you happy with the testimony, or would you like it amended?
Leave it. I better leave it at that and try to figure something out. Thank you, Your Honor, but there's no need to amend this testimony.
Very well. Continue with the cross-examination, then.
So the tiger was meeting Glenn Elk to get his money back. Mr. Elk had just given him the lottery ticket. That would have been the end of it. Yeah, so what's the tiger's motive? This is a big one. If I don't manage to undermine this testimony, it's all over for us. Why would he have to poison Mr. Elk? And why did he loan him the money in the first place, when he knew he couldn't repay him? I'm guessing this is his motive. It has to be. So he just intended to get back the $100,000 Mr. Elk owed you, correct?
I loaned the guy cash, so that's my right.
Unfortunately for Mr. Elk, I don't believe the $100,000 is what you were really after.
Objection!
Where are you getting at, right? What else would a moneylender be after other than money?
Oh, the moneylender was after the money. But money in a totally different league. The kind of money that a single disc like this would fetch.
What is that?
A computer virus, Your Honor. A virus called MC Bomber.
A computer virus? What does one of those do?
A computer virus is a program that wreaks havoc on the insides of a computer.
A computer? What does one of those do?
I guess the beard isn't the only part of his honor that is from the Stone Age. Pfft. I'll explain it to you later, Your Honor. Right now, this is the most important point. A virus like MC Bomber would be worth several $1 million on the black market.
So, several $1 million?
Lending money with no hope of ever seeing repayment would not only be bad for business, but in this case, the very fact that Glenn Elk had no way to repay the money is crucial.
What?
Glenn Elk was a programmer, a highly skilled programmer. That skill was the collateral Mr. Elk put up in order to borrow the money.
You're trying to suggest the witness's motive was to get hold of that program?
Exactly.
The witness may have poor fashion sense, but he is by no means an idiot, Trite. A man like him got his hands on $1 million without resorting to murder.
Of course he could, provided that he had time. But what if he had needed the money right then? When the pressure's on, the luxury of choice tends to disappear.
It seems you have a logical conclusion for this theory, Mr. Wright. Would you care to share it with us? Why did Mr. Tigre need money to the tune of $1 million?
In December of last year, you found yourself in need of a huge amount of money. About 6 months ago, you were involved in a traffic accident, weren't you? An accident involving a car and a scooter in which a young man was injured. She was taken to the hospital where she underwent surgery.
How much of this do you know?
These medical papers document the treatment of the young woman in question. According to these, her operation cost $1 million. And yet, when the payment was due last month, you somehow managed to pay in full.
$1 million? A preposterous sum. Someone should sue these HMOs.
Huh. No one will pay a bill like that. If the medical association got wind of it, the hospital would end up as dead as a morgue.
But Mr. Tigre had no choice but to pay, because his very life depended on it.
Order! You say his life depended on it, Mr. Wright?
Indeed it did, simply because the injured woman was none other than Viola Cadaverini.
Did you say Cadaverini?
Bruto Cadaverini, mob boss in charge of all underworld activities in the city, and doting grandfather to his precious Violetta, also known as Viola Cadaverini. Your life was in danger unless you paid compensation to the boss, correct? It makes sense. You were desperate to acquire the $1 million Bruto Cadaverini demanded of you. So desperate, in fact, that you decided to sacrifice Glenn Elk's life to pay your debt. On the day of the murder, Mr. Tigre's sole intention was to get his hands on the CD. Glenn Elk had no way of paying back the $100,000, and Mr. Tigre knew it. But then a miracle happened. The kind that Mr. Tigre would prefer to say never happened. But he can't, and neither can I.
The lottery win?
Exactly. At the 11th hour, Mr. Elk won $500,000 on the lottery, which left Mr. Tigre with no way of getting his hands on the all-important CD. At least, no legitimate way. And that's where the magic happened. So here is order to a legitimate means. That's crazy. He murdered Glenn Elk and then made his next move, to frame Maggie Bird for the crime. Mr. Tigre posed as Glenn Elk, while Viola Cadaverini played the role of Miss Bird. And then they reenacted the whole thing, in order to establish a witness. A witness being the one we all heard testify yesterday, Mr. Victor Kudo.
Like I said, Trite, that's crazy. No one could put off a stunt like that. For starters, there's no way the chef could have been kept in the dark about it.
He wasn't. But Mr. Armstrong was in on it from the very beginning. Have you forgotten already, Mr. Godot? Mr. Armstrong owed the witness money too. $500,000, in fact. He had no choice but to go along with Mr. Tigre's plan.
Order! Silence or clear the court! You put on a good show, Spiky. But if you want to stay alive in the loan shark business, you gotta be careful. You saying I dressed up like that kid, created a witness, and framed someone? If I did something crazy like that, I'll leave a trail as bright on my shirt.
I ain't dumb enough to do something sloppy like that. I agree. You do? Despite your appearance, you are very careful. That's why you took one more precaution. One more trick to make sure Miss Bird had no way out.
What? Another one, Mr. Wright? Interesting. Why don't you fill us all in, Trite? What was this trick you say Mr. Tigre performed to frame the accused? We're all ears.
What on earth is that? What an insult to think anyone could be fooled by such a childish imitation.
Consider yourself insulted, Your Honor. Mr. Tigre, you didn't just pose as the victim on the day in question. A month ago in this very court, you posed as me.
What? That's the truth. But the witness looks something like you, Mr. Wright. Although, now that I think about it, it was you, wasn't it? No doubt it was you, standing in here this very court a mere month ago. The Phoenix Wright who put up the most disreputable, shabby defense I had ever seen.
Can you prove that, Gramps? Prove the attorney who represented the accused here a month ago was this man? Are you prepared to take the stand and testify that was him?
Gulp!
Hey! Forget about it, yeah? But I wouldn't do something like that, not me. You made a mistake, right? You was someone else, huh? Have you no pride, sir?
This isn't a matter of pride. In case you didn't know, Trite, here in court we deal with people's lives. Narg!
Mr. Godot is right.
Your Honor?
Speaking for myself, I am absolutely convinced. The attorney in question was the witness standing before me now. However, I preside over this court as a judge, with the vested power to hand down a verdict. Someone in my position cannot be swayed by memory without evidence to support it.
No!
If the defense has no further evidence, the court will now excuse the witness. The circumstances surrounding Mr. Tigre are dubious for sure, but not conclusive.
But we've come so far.
You say impersonated Glenn, you say impersonated you. But none of that adds up to a murder charge. You don't have a shred of evidence that the witness poisoned the victim's coffee? Narg!
Sucks to be you, right? Don't mess with the tiger, you're gonna get mauled, you got that? All we managed to do here was chase him around a bit. But I was so close to getting him to admit his own guilt.
Huh. Looks like I won't be needing a refill.
If I just had one more piece of evidence, and maybe I could get Maggie off the hook.
This witness's cross-examination is over. You are free to go, Mr. Tigre.
No, hold on a minute.
Hold it!
Your Honor, sure. Wait!
Detective Gumshoe! Sorry it took so long, pal. I saved everything on this. My badge, the works. So here it is. My aunt's counting on this too. What is it, Detective? Isn't it obvious, pal? It's a final decisive piece of evidence. What? Sorry it took so long, pal, but I finally got the results from the lab. The results? About the prints, pal, from this medicine bottle.
Oh, so, do you know who the prints belong to now?
Do you think I'm some kind of hack detective? Of course I know.
So, tell us. They're the tigers, right? I knew it.
You bet. Clear as crystal all over the bottle. They're Fio Tigre's paw prints, alright.
That's great. We've got him now, Nick. What's wrong with you? You've hardly said a word since Detective Gumshoe got here. He's laid everything on the line for this, Nick. I know. Look, I'm sorry. This is kind of hard to say, but it really doesn't make any difference whose prints are on that bottle now.
Huh? What? Why not?
What we need to produce at this stage in the trial is irrefutable evidence that the tiger put poison in Glenn L's coffee. He's already admitted that he met the victim. The fact that his prints are on this bottle, that really doesn't make any difference now.
I knew it. Wait, no matter how hard I try, I'm never of any use.
Hey, don't be so hard on yourself.
This was our last chance to help Maggie, and I've been working on some useless piece of evidence the whole time. It's alright. I'm a real loser. It's not breaking news to me, pal.
Detective Gumshoe?
Maggie!
You've been working on something for me?
Sorry, I let you down, Maggie. I know you didn't do it, and I'm a detective. We're supposed to be able to prove stuff like that. I'm really sorry. I'll get out of your hair now.
Hey, Detective Gumshoe, wait!
He's gone. Isn't there anything we can do now, Nick? I wish there was. Gumshoe worked so hard to get that evidence. If only there was some way I could use it. Now, what do we do?
Mr. Wright,
Yes, Your Honor?
I'm going to do your research so you can prepare the decisive evidence you've discovered.
Yes.
Don't keep us all in suspense, right? Show us. Naturally, we can assume it's evidence that will actually stand up in court, can't we?
Think, Phoenix. Don't let Gumshoe's hard work go to waste.
How much more my time is gonna waste? I ain't been to no court before. But you lawyers sure know how to blow things out of proportion. No doubt, given the nature of the evidence, it will speak for itself. Nevertheless, you will talk us through it, Mr. Wright.
Well, I know I can't prove anything new with this evidence. I'm really backed into a corner here. But maybe if he thinks he's got me beat, he'll let his guard down a bit.
Don't keep us waiting any longer, Mr. Wright. Present this final decisive piece of evidence to the court.
Alright, sure. There you go. This is the defense's final piece of evidence.
Isn't that the victim's?
Your Honor, naturally the court is already aware of the contents of this bottle. However, interesting new information has come to light. We have clearly identified some fingerprints on it. Fingerprints belonging to you, Mr. Tigre.
What? But, Mr. Wright, what conclusion are you hoping to draw from this new information?
Everyone here knows what this bottle contains, except one man. One person in this courtroom should theoretically be in the dark.
My prints are on that pansy-looking bottle. Is that what you're saying? Well, what the hell's in it anyway?
I'm so glad you asked, Tigre. A phony trial, a phony lawyer, and phony clues. Everything about this case has been phony. Seems like the perfect excuse for some phony evidence. Mr. Tigre, this is the decisive piece of evidence that will prove your guilt. Why? Because it contains the evidence on its own isn't worth anything. I guess I'll just have to take the plunge and... wait a minute, Nick. Aromatherapy oil is not going to help anyone now, is it?
Mr. Wright, if you think I'll allow you to indulge in speculation at this stage, you're wrong.
Oops. Looks like I better reconsider.
I've got to take advantage of the fact that the tagger thinks he's won, and lead him into a trap, and a phony piece of evidence is the way to do it. Mr. Tigre, this is the decisive piece of evidence that will prove your guilt. Why? Because it contains... this bottle contains potassium cyanide.
Potassium cyanide?
The poison used to murder Mr. Elk, Your Honor. The victim's killer used this very bottle. And on this bottle, Mr. Tigre, we found your fingerprints. Well, how do you explain that?
You'd make a good clown, you know that?
What?
You ain't never gonna get this to stick. You're just making me laugh now. You think a cheap bluff like that's gonna fool the tiger?
A bluff?
I can see straight to you, Phoenix, right? That ain't the bottle with the cyanide in it.
No, this is the bottle we found traces of poison in.
Don't mess with that tiger, or you're gonna get ripped to shreds. The cyanide bottle was brown, and it was made of glass. That cheap piece of trash don't look nothing like it.
Got him. At last. What? Why has everyone got quiet? I said that bottle... Is this the bottle you're referring to? Yeah, that's it. That's the bottle cyanide was in. But you ain't gonna find my prints on that bottle. Don't let that cozy looking suit fool you, people. That lawyer's playing games. Tell him, Mr. Prosecutor. Tell that guy where to go.
You still haven't figured it out? Don't you realize what you just said?
What I said? What did I just say? You were summoned to this court for the first time earlier today. If you really had nothing to do with the murder, you shouldn't have known all the little details. For instance, you shouldn't have known what kind of bottle of potassium cyanide was in. But just now you slipped up in front of every single person in this courtroom. You described the exact bottle used by the killer to hold the poison. You don't know who you're messing with. I'm the tiger. I control millions of dollars on the black market. You think I'm gonna let some jumped up suit get the better than me? Sure, the last piece of evidence was phony. But that's just what you deserve. The phony trial with a phony lawyer, it was all played out by you, the biggest phony of all. Hello?
What's going on?
Looks like a blackout.
Well done, trite. I saved my 70th cup of coffee just for you. Savor it while you watch the police restrain your prey. Mr. Wright, you caught a tiger by his toe, but if this one hollers, he won't let go. Now then, how are things going with Mr. Tigray, Mr. Godot? He's being arrested on suspicion of the murder of Glen Alg, Your Honor. Fortunately for us, we managed to rectify a very grave error. I almost besmirched the name of a young woman by the name of Maggie Bird. I almost besmirched her with the name of murderer. Miss Bird was found guilty in the absence of a genuine defense attorney.
Yes, she was.
And in the absence of a genuine evidence, but the tiger made one mistake. Indeed. He very nearly got away with everything if it wasn't for that one slip of the tongue. Fury Tigray is truly a frightening criminal. Ha! A truly frightening one is that defense attorney over there. Get out. Well, I am now in a position to deliver my verdict. This court finds the defendant, Maggie Bird, not guilty. That is all. This court is adjourned.
Phew. Alright.
Mr. Wright, I'm not lost for words. Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, Maggie.
I was so mad when Mr. Wright landed me in all that trouble a month ago, and now I feel I can forgive him.
Hey, that wasn't me, Maggie. That was the tiger. Look, Nick. In the doorway. Detective Gumshoe. Oh, I guess I'll be heading off then. See you around, pal. Wait.
Detective Gumshoe.
Oh yeah. Congratulations, Maggie.
Thanks.
I knew you were innocent all along.
Why didn't you say that in your testimony then?
Huh? Oh, well, that was... Well, I guess I'll be heading off then. See you around. Wait up, detective. He just ran off. Maggie, why are you being so hard on him? He busted his butt for you. It's thanks to him that we got the medication bottle.
That wasn't even of any use.
But...
It's only because Mr. Wright used it so cleverly. Detective Gumshoe was just running around in circles.
Well, I can't kinda argue with you there. Poor guy. Looks like she still isn't ready to forgive him. Can you put in a good word for him, Nick? Yeah, Maya's right. I should help Gumshoe out. It's clear he needs it. Maggie, you know, Detective Gumshoe's been really worried about you through all of this?
I want her to believe that, sir. But on that first day of the trial, he practically gave the judge a free pass to lock me up.
He didn't have any choice, Maggie. He's a detective. He has to report the facts.
He doubted me, that's why. He thought I may have done it.
I've got to prove to her that Gumshoe really cares about her. I know. I'll give her a little present to celebrate her freedom. Care for a little weenie lunch, my lady? Here you are, a present to celebrate your freedom.
That's...
A present from Detective Gumshoe, made with a ton of love. He said he lost weight and he was worried about you.
Detective Gumshoe? I actually really like weenies, you know?
Did you guys hear that? I'm pretty hungry myself, you know. Yeah, the trial dragged on a bit today, didn't it?
Is it okay if I eat this now?
Yeah, let's eat some weenies. Why is she crying? So, how is it, Maggie?
It's really good. Tasty weenies.
So the case of phony versus genuine comes to an end. The false allegations surrounding Maggie have all been cleared up. And who knows? Maybe a whole new chapter of her life is about to start. The end.